Hi everyone, we are doing our online virtual lab. This is an experiment we would normally do in class, but we're going to do it virtually and learn some Google Sheet skills while we're at it. This is your direction sheet, and this is listing everything we're going to cover in this video. To switch to our data table, we are going to go down here where it says data table, and we're going to create our data table. All right, so you can see here the data was already generated from you. I typed that in, and the first thing you guys are going to do is just copy all the data. So all 40 minutes of your data. Oops. I'm going to then, once it's highlighted, go to insert chart, and we get our chart. And Google Sheets does a wonderful job because it makes everything for you. We just want to edit it and make sure it has everything we want in it, and it allows us to use it in a visually appealing way. So it already made it as a line chart. You can see here when this pops up, it already is a line chart. There's different options, but we want to leave it as a line chart. We're now going to go to customize, right? And we're going to go through each of these steps just like outlined in that first tab. We already like the chart style. The first thing we want to change is the chart axis and titles. The first thing we're going to change is we actually want to change the chart title. We want to call this chart the heat capacity of temperature of heat, heat capacity of soil and water. So that's the lab, right? So we changed our title. You guys can change how you want it to be positioned. That's our first bit. I also want to change it so we have a subtitle, and I'm going to put my name. And you should put your name, right? So we know who it is. And then we also want to just change our axes. The time is good, but we want to add our units. So I'm going to add minutes, right? I just typed those in. And on the vertical axis, there's currently not one. So we are going to add it in. And I already have this saved from before, so I'm just going to add the temperature. And that covers all of our axes. I'm going to shut that again, and now I can open up the series. All right, so series, we're talking about the actual data points. We want to change our colors because temperature for the soil, I don't think of that usually being blue. Soil, I don't think of blue. So I'm going to go to soil, and I'm going to change it to a brown because that's what I think of. And I'm going to go back again, and I'm going to go to water, and I want to change that to a blue because that's what I associate it. You can pick different colors, but I'm going to leave it with those colors. I'm going to then shut my series, and I'm going to now open my legends. My legends is the actual key, and I don't really like it on the top, so I'm going to move it to the right. So I'm encouraging you guys to do that as well. Puts my legend nicely to the side. I'm going to shut my legends, and my horizontal axis is minutes, 0 to 40 minutes. I like that. That seems pretty perfect. We have data from 0 to 40 minutes. We're going to leave that one alone. And instead, now I'm going to click on vertical axis because we are going from 0 to 40 degrees Celsius. But the reality is all of our data is really between 24.7 and 34. So we want to change this just on this graph. So we're going to come here to vertical axis, and we're going to change our minimum to 24. And we can change our maximum. We could put it whatever, but we could leave it at 34. And that way we have a nice clear pattern and trend so we can see what's going on much easier than if we're looking at all the data from 0 to 34. It kind of zooms our data in, and that's one of our big goals. And that really finishes up our graph, right? So we just took this data, and you guys just made a line graph. The only other thing we want to do to our line graph is we want to save it so we can submit it later. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here to these 3 dots. We're going to click on those. We don't need to edit it. We could copy it. We can do these different things, but I'm going to ask you guys to download it as a PDF. And once you guys download it as a PDF, it saves our title. It comes down here, and we're going to use this PDF to upload into our Google form when the Google form asks it for us. You just need to make sure you remember where it gets saved. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope that was helpful.